こんばんは。僕の名前はボラハン・ウラキパンです。そして英語を話します。So today I am honored to present the defense for my thesis. So first, the presentation will be cover the following section. So I'm going to introduce the background and the motivation and the approach and also the originality of the research. So in our daily life, we observe that people often violate in the public manner in the public spaces. One of the reason is the concentration on the application on the smartphone. These impair the awareness of the people surrounding, and this can result in injury or have some accident or even worse, death. Such for the example that the woman was killed by the train. And moreover, in nowadays, many applications are provided on the smartphone usage, such for the game or application. So my motivation, I would like to free people from commanding or operating application to avoid such mentioned problems. And also, I would like to explore the new way of interacting of people and digital functions that should be in the future. This is my motivation. And for to achieve that, the design concept, the first I propose to the function should be seamlessly integrated into the environment. And also the stimulus should be designed to impact the person instinctive reaction. So in my idea to design the approach, I would like to design the sensation into the situational awareness of the environment as for mimicking the natural phenomenon so that people can react or respond instinctively using the sound or vibration stimulus that I designed. For the approach, uh, as the ambient computing is significant impact my research approach. For the concept of the ambient computing is a concept focused on seamlessly integrate the technology in our environment. But however, in my attempt, I not only focus on the installment on the function, but also design to seamlessly integrate the ambient digital function with the context naturally. And also, the next concept is also a significant impact on my approach. The next concept is a concept to based on the human behavioral insight that aim to indirectly influence the desired behavior from the people environment. So this time, for my research, I utilized the design stimulus as a part of the nuts concept to naturally impact the desired behavior in the context of the environment. So for the objective, the first, I propose to design the interaction to seamlessly integrate the interaction between the human and also the ambient digital function in our daily life so that the system so ubiquitous and less noticeable. And the second, to create a new type of interaction between the ambient digital function and people. For example, it doesn't require people intentional interaction to operate or commanding the system. And the third, to implement the example and evaluate of the effectiveness of the approach. So to observe how effective of my approach is. So to achieve this research, for the research process, the first in this study, in this research, I designed digital support for the cases in which it need to prompt people in the action. So I designed the stimulus that from a person in a specific situation that I would like to present in the next slide. And also I implemented the system that doesn't work on people, consent, and attention, but I would like to produce something that person reflect without paying attention or thought. And the last one, I evaluate on the approach of the sound and the vibration as one of the expanded core idea of the approach that integrate in the environmental context. So for the significance of the research, the first to explore what the ambient digital function should be like, and the second to propose a policy of the interaction design necessary to realize such a function. So for the next section, which later I would positioning of my research in relation to the previous research. So as ambient computing impacts significant to my research approach, that the concept seamlessly revolve the integrate technology in the environment. I would give an example for the first one. And the A, the research is called Tempescope. This is an ambient physical display to visualize the various weather conditions, such as the user can feel the environmental change, just for the it's going to rain, but instead using this visual to notify them naturally. Or the B is a ambient orb, that is a crystal ball of sort of display some information that change. So the user can naturally interact with the ambient light bulb naturally in the context that show the information data that change. And also the C, the station of being, is the design, the sound, and the light integrate in the bus station that can notify such when the bus is coming, and it can change the color and sound that can notify the person of situational changes. So then nudge concept is also impact my significant. So nudge concept is the concept to influence the person action. For example, the conventional one, they use the as we can see in general, like using the text placed on the stair, and that can arouse or motivate the person to use the stair instead of using the elevator or escalator. And the B, for example, they use nut theory to make a choice that can people can trust the secret into the appropriate way by the strategy and the text that they use. And also the C is a obstacle by the 3D that plays on the road, that they expect that a person would drive more slowly. And that is the concept of nut that impact my approach. And also the haptic interface. So the haptic interface in general, such for the A picture, they use such for the using on the notification on smartphone for the vibration surface, and also the joy game controller, and also the B using the haptic interface in the simulate driving application, or even the application for nowadays they use for the merge the physical surface of the haptic to deliver the sensation to the user in the digital environment, such for the VR. So for my approach, I attempted to seamlessly blend the function into our awareness of the environment, but both considering about the system installment and also the interaction design. As for the ambient computing, significant on my research. And also I propose to prompt a person instinctive reaction response, as the nut theory can indirectly impact the desired behavior using as a part of the nudge to design the stimulus as I propose. And also I utilize the ambient digital stimuli to directly interact with the user. For example, using the haptic interface as one of my methods to convey information indirectly. So for the concept, I would explain about the specific idea and the broader concept. As the ambient computing and the nut theory is significant on my approach. So in my condition to achieve the goal, I propose to use the system design where it can integrate seamlessly into the environment. and also the interaction combined together to decide between the system and the natural context, so that I can design the interaction and system into specific different of the application or environment. So to make it happen, I also design the intervention strategy to impact in each different environment or specific context. The first, I provide the environmental happening to use the ambient digital function that is provided to prompt a person to feel something occurring in the context, and expect that people can react instinctively as my purpose. And then I design happening, considering the match, the stimulus and also the environment, using the stimulus such for the traction, such for the vibration, or movement, or audition, such as sound, so that I can make use of this desired stimulus to create the intervention strategy. Such for the first, anxiety and fear in the specific situation. And also I can create intervention strategy for the psychological barrier in each specific situation. So I would explain in the next slide for how can I integrate the ambient digital function into the specific environment. So for the implementation and experiment section, I would like to explain about the method that I use. The first one is approach using the sound. So imagine that when a group of people is sitting together, regarding the outdoor environment, a person might be notice something happening and feel anxiety and fear, such for the mosquito flying around the context. So in this case, I assume that people will avoid the psychological discomfort to get up and go away from the bench. So here, I choose to use the design sound stimulus as to produce the natural phenomenon, such as the natural event happened here in the situation. So to make it happen, I use the hardware design of the sound approach using the directional sound to create the natural phenomenon by digital technique. Using the on the left side, we use a directional sound that blend the color, and also on the left side below, I add more interactive of the bench. So for the right side, design sound pattern that imitate the natural phenomenon of the mosquito flying around. So I use the appropriate angle and can deliver the sound to the target position. And also, the software that I use for the GUI to control the sound sources and interval speed. So for the experimental procedure, the first, I simulate the situation when the person is going to sit on the public chair. As for the situation of the social distance that they have to aware about, to have a distance between the seat. And also they consider proceeding such as sound stimulus for inducing anxiety and fear, to expect that the person can get up from the bench and have a social distance in the seat on the center. And I examine whether the system could prompt a participant and make them aware. So this is a demonstration. So I prepare the 4 directional speaker that blend in the context. And this is a social distance scenario. And I use the design sound stimulation, low, medium, and high. So this is the casting sound. So this is the direct 3D audio effects. And engage, adjusting themselves in social distance unintentionally by the system without instruct them to or command them to leave the seat. So here of my one of my approach using the sound. For the experimental scenario, for the condition, first, before I examine the participant, I prepare a person dummy on the left and right to sit before the experiment. And I let the participant stand out of the frame. So when I will start the experiment. I instruct the participant to sit in the center, and that the system would be generated and the sound would be delivered. So I define the threshold of the when a participant get up from the bench or stand on the bench within 2 seconds, according to the response rate of the sound, I consider them to be prompt by the system. So I also use the sound pattern, including the 3 interval speed, low, medium, and high, and also the sound source of mosquito. And also on the right side, I design the sound parameter. Using the A is a proposed approach as a 3D audio effects using the mosquito buzzing is a natural phenomenon. And B and C is a conventional method using the stereo sound, using the conventional beep sound and the mosquito. So for the result, participant 90% respond to the proposed approach of the 3D audio effects that's superior to the other parameter. So another one, I will show how can I integrate the vibration approach into specific situation as one of my core idea. Imagine that when a person taking an elevator while using a smartphone or otherwise occupied by realizes that doesn't realize that the door was open behind. So I assume that a person should turn around or find the exit door when he feels someone enter it. This is a natural phenomenon. And then a person would go back and find the exit door at the end. So I would like to design such a sensation of the real natural phenomenon by using the digital technique. And another one is a scenario that a person in queuing in lineup. So he mostly using the smartphone or engaging the conversation. Later on, they fail to realize such an important maintaining the distance in the line, or during the COVID-19 pandemic, they forget to have a social distance while they are using while in the queue. So this time we not design the natural phenomenon happening around in the ambient, but we design such a metaphor of a video as a video game manner. For example, in this situation, we design when a person get too close to the person behind and not realizes to maintain a distance. We want to design something happening behind. Also in front, when a person stay too close to a person in front, we decide something happening by the environment. And then when a person in is in the appropriate position, the design happening would be vanished or nothing happened. So here we want to apply the vibration approach into this this scenario. So to make it happen, I create the interactive floor system that can consider the appropriate force intensity that deliver to the feet sensation as a sensory model that consider, and also the rod each one of the solenoid that calculate the distance between each other to deliver the appropriate force intensity and speed. And also I can design the picture pattern and sequences of the time interval by using the GUI. So I also consider the isolated wave pattern that can deliver and prompt a person sensation as a using the motion of actuator up and down, and decide a wave parameter of the low, medium, and high based on the sensory model on the feet. So for the experimental scenario using the vibration approach, first I simulate 2 situations that I explained beforehand. It's a tuning scenario and also the elevator scenario with the condition where people not attention to their surrounding. And the second, I consider producing such a stimulus by using the vibration beneath the surface via the interactive floor system. And also I examine whether the system could prompt a participant to make them aware. So this is a demonstration of the approach. So here is a 3 active floor surface with a 6 dummy floor surface. And the surface can calibrate in the X and Y axis to create the distance between each rod. And also this is a parameter, low, medium, and high, to prompt a person's sensation when they are standing on. So we decide smoothly integrate into the rubber sheet above, so the participant cannot see the system. So for the experimental scenario for the elevator scene, before I experiment, I let the participant to stand in the dummy floor on the left back on the dummy floor surface and prepare the screen in front and behind the participant with the door closed scenario scene. And when I start the experiment, I instruct the participant to stay in the center as the floor number 2 on the picture on the left. So then the system would be activated. And then for 10 seconds, we imitate the real elevator of the elevator. The system would be generated with the scene of the open door behind the participant. So I define the threshold when the participant turn toward to the opposite door or find the opposite door of the elevator behind within 2 seconds, according to the reaction rate time of the vibration. We judge them to be prompt by the system or have awareness. So here I design using the isolated wave pattern in this scenario. Also the 3 parameter, low, medium, and high. So for the result, more than 90% of participants respond to the desired stimulus that's superior to other parameter. And then maintaining distance in a queue scenario, I examine participant in 2 conditions. The first is picture A, is people waiting in the line while they are using the smartphone or gadget. And the B, people standing too close to the person in front or behind without using the gadget or smartphone and using the same speed parameter of the speed pattern. So here for the result, 2 conditions demonstrate that more than 80% of the participants, most of them respond to the proposed method of using the high wave speed that they respond to the desired stimulus that's superior to other parameter. So for the discussion, I will discuss about the approach of my research. So the first, I have a question that for before doing this research. The first, how does the design stimulus compare to widely used simple methods, such for the conventional media of signage or the voice announcement in general? And the second, what it should be possible to apply the system practically in the real world setting? This is my second question. And the third, what the digital stimulation approach can be used effectively from people in their specific situation. And the fourth, what the difference of my approach and not theory. So to discuss about the design stimulus, I observed that 3 experiment participants respond to the design stimulus. And also I can observe that the system can notify a person in specific situation. So considering the first experiment, I observed that the bench situation, the approach works well and the stimulus design matched well with the context. As I selected the mosquito flying around and with the outdoor environment, the participant respond to the design stimulus. And the second, for the elevator scenario, it need more sophisticated design of the stimulus so that it can remind a real occurrence in the specific context. So this scenario is hard for participants to imagine themselves in the similar situation. So here, for the next study, I have to improve or examine this situation in the real situation so that I can proposed to improve in the future. And also the third examination in the line-up scenario, the stimulus is not mimicking a real happening, but I succeeded in presenting the psychological barrier, such they are aware about the something happening surrounded their environment, and that can impact their desired behavior as we expected. So this answer the research question number 2 and number 3. For the next discussion about the conventional approach and reaction. So in general, the conventional media, such for the signage or white announcement, some people tend to ignore the caution because they might be familiar or they got used to it about it. And some aware, understand, and willing to obey the order depending on people to receive the information and react whether or not. And also some not care about the merge stimulus while they are distracted. So for the significance of this design concept, as the stimulus would be also passed if it's alone, as a conventional media cannot attract people's attention enough while they are distracted. So the significance of my research, so my approach works when a stimulus is designed well, so to be combined with the surrounding context. So as for I design the mosquito, using in the match to the context of outdoor environment, the participant respond to the desired stimulus so that they can react instinctively and then they can respond naturally. So that I would like to propose this core idea to design the stimulus in the specific context in various different scenarios. So this question, the research question number 1. And for the advantage of this approach, for the first, not relying on the human awareness or moral for my approach. So this research I designed a stimulus to impact the instinctive reaction instead of using the conventional media. And another one, I integrated smoothly in the background context, presenting the example of how to integrate the ambient digital function in the environment. And also, if it designed well, it could be control how the person react to the desired stimulus. But however, the aspect need to further improvement. The first one, to find a good pair of the context and stimulus. So as I decide the environmental happening, so not every stimulus suit for the context. For example, the person in the elevator while distracted. This time I use the vibration that can imagine people to think about people is coming. But it might be can improve further to make a person perceive more for the sensation that they can well react. It might be using the sound or the visual to lead the person react more naturally. And the second, it have to design and implement it specifically for each different situation. As for my design happening, I have to examine each parameter that can impact the human sensation to suit the context. So another one is there are cases in implementation where the scalability or the size become an issue, such for the scale of the mechanism issue. For the scale of the interactive flow now is limited a person to react or to walk naturally because the scale. So I expect that it can enlarge the scale so that a person could walk or react more naturally. And for the interaction design aspect, so this is just an evaluation, but the result it does not work well. So it design not sufficient for the interaction. So I should examine this situation in the real environment that should be improved in the future. So for I state that the integrate into the environment is not doesn't mean to embed the system only in the environment, but it should be designed to consider the interaction become seamlessly integrated with the context. For example, in general, smart speaker, they use the advantage of the communication in human style instead of using the display reality UI. But however, it still require a person conscious engagement, such for the required information or the require the music on the smart speaker. So in my approach, it differs from this policy to design the system from such an attempt that I examples concept. So for the design stimulus in the environment, so I decide to create experiences and impact the behavioral response and also prompt a person in the situational change using the intervention strategy that consider the environmental happening, considering the people and stimulus and the context, interrelationships. And then I decided happening by consider the digital modality, such for the vibration and sound and the visual. So if the design is suitable for the context, I expected that my approach could show the effectively result. So for the design, the ambient digital function, the two subjects in designing are considered. The first, the function design should prompt a person react unintentionally. So the design interaction that are natural in the context should be without command or operate, which is the first condition. And the second, the function would be seamlessly and blend into the environment in both physical and in the people behavior. So people doesn't, the system will not disappear or seamlessly integrate the environment. So we propose the person to react naturally. So, however, I do not pursue to create the high effective warning for the research is out of my scope. And then I will discuss about the contribution of this research. So as a core idea, using the intervention strategy, I can integrate this core idea to the different various scenario. For example, using the motivation and competition strategy. So for example, I create a virtual representation of motivative and alter their behavior in the context. And also, I can integrate the illustration as for the fun, entertainment, and attractiveness of the strategy. So I utilize the proposed method to create an enjoyable experience based on daily activity. So here I illustrate on how can I integrate the core idea into the specific virus scenario. So in my preliminary approach, I suggest that the result in this study may show the similar result depending on the circumstances and the design stimulus. So next is the conclusion. So for the this research provide an important insight to decide on creating the ambient digital function. The first one, the design concept of blending the digital stimuli into the living environment, and I can expand the approach as one of the core idea using the vibration or sound so that people can react in the specific situation. And then the proposition of the approach outline the capability of the integrated ambient digital function that in the different situation, as I can observe people respond to the desired stimulus in each examination. And also the last one, a framework of the development of the research area of the concept. So in my approach, it differ from the bias heuristic on the behavioral economic term, but it does more on the instinctive response to make a person unintentionally react in the context that different from the conventional media to interact to require the attention. So here I demonstrate the contribution on how can I develop the research area of the concept. This answer the research question number 4. For the conclusion, In order to consider the design ambient digital function, is it important to design the interaction should be blend in the context that we have to consider about the interaction design and the human behavior. And also the contribution of this study that is important idea that I make clear and demonstrate via the concrete implementation and the experiment that I show the result. So this is the publication that I published to the international conference, and I also published to international journal for this storyline of the research. はい。